When then I would get moderated into obscurity, I initially thought that the United States of America is picking a bone with Africans on the platform. I literally, in the beginning, thought that it was the US picking a bone with African content creators. I was of the imagination that America did not want African content creators to thrive because they were pushing their own agenda. If you listen to my old content, as you have, I guess, clicked on it based on my last video, in the end screen, you will find content that I have posted in those channels. The first one, the first batch, largely the first batch, because by the time I entered into the second batch, this is like the year's worth of content that I've posted in my last ministries from these ones. I was already with the right mindset because God, you know, He gives me understanding. He gives me dreams, visions, and all that jazz. So I said in those videos that the United States of America, even in my blog, like you can literally go to my blog. There is I was actually in my blog today to see what's going on over there, because every so often I get curious as to what's happening in all the spaces where I have been banned. And I went to my blog today and I saw a video there that not a video, sorry, but an article that I wrote, that the title of that article was "The Left in America, the Crazy Left in America is Hurting Africans." I said that the crazy left in America is hurting not only Africans, but non-Americans on American platforms, because they're trying to push and proliferate only American content creators, and they don't care about the rest of us in these peripheral streets from America. They don't care about them Asians, they don't care about Africans, they don't care about Europeans. Everybody else can basically just go die and dive and be dumped in favor of the US. And I was lamenting because we don't have our own social media platforms where we can do a thing. So why, America, are you locking us out? And I blamed the left in the US and said that they're gnarly monsters. Okay, I have ever since then been graduated from that thought process, because God kept on showing me time and time again that, honey, this ain't got jack to do with the US. It ain't got jack to do with America's decision. One time the Lord was hinting to me so badly to let me know that stop accusing YouTube of doing this to you by showing me. So usually when I see things in bright, white, sparkling white in my dreams, it is evidence of the glory of God over that thing, shrouding it, right? The YouTube logo is red. The YouTube logo is red. You know that YouTube's red, right? The YouTube logo is red. But I once got a dream after doing a whole bunch of shorts lamenting against America wreaking havoc on African content creators. I got a dream where I saw the YouTube logo that play button being bright white instead of red. It was white in color. And that was the Lord showing me that listen, honey, your problem here is not YouTube as a company. It's deeper. It's a South African issue. It is those that have been delegated. Like, you know how I spoke about IT delegating to administrators, the ability to be able to award project managers access to their projects on the dashboard? Yeah, YouTube would be like IT, just giving a business unit permissions, a business unit's worth of administrators permissions to administrate on those dashboards, to give project managers permissions, and then say, fly like a bird, do you? Trusting that you're gonna honor corporate governance, corporate policies, corporate rules, and then individual administrators then decide to go rogue in spite of IT and in spite of the company's decisions, in spite of corporate's decisions. Yeah, I got a dream not only of the YouTube play button being bright white, divorcing itself from the original Waking Space CI, right? But I also got a dream of the shorts, you know, the YouTube shorts, that logo, yeah, the YouTube shorts, that's like two, I don't know, sausages, whatever you want to, two sausages like on top of each other. You know how that shorts logo looks like that, with two little sausages, whatever you want to call it, they look like sausages, okay? Those two little sausages, or spring rolls, okay, maybe like spring rolls, they were like two spring rolls on top of each other that were red. That shorts logo, yeah, YouTube also was white, even though in waking life it's red. And the Lord was showing me with that listen, the reason why your shorts were growing once upon a time and then they just kind of stopped one day has nothing at all under heaven, listen, absolutely zero hollow note and ash to do with YouTube as an overarching American company. The problem here is the corruption in your crazy country. The issue is in your crazy land. But it would take a minute for me to put two and two together. Do you understand? It would take a minute for me to figure out that, okay, something here is going terribly awry in this crazy country. So I just kept on ranting about how, America, you don't want Africans to grow. And I was starting to develop a little bit of a despondency against the US, even though I started out liking them quite a lot. And the Lord corrected me. He corrected the living daylights out of me. So the moderator guy that I told you guys about from Facebook, that was on that show Shrouded by Darkness. Now, every single time I think about the gnarly harlot at YouTube who is sleeping with this entire South African deep state of politicians and corporate executives. This lady, listen, there's a gentleman that left Facebook because he got PTSD from all the stuff that he had to keep moderating. You can't stay in that job for too long. I would imagine within the moderating space, there is a very high staff turnover. Why? Why would there be a high staff turnover within the moderating space? Because being a moderator as a job is like being a soldier. You can't stay on the battlefield indefinitely and still be normal. Even with the IDF in Israel, the soldiers rotate, the reserves, they rotate. Thank God, I can't really say that the war's over because there is a presence in Gaza right now, but thank God for the release of the hostages. It was so tear-jerking. But the soldiers that are presently on the ground right now are not the same ones that started at the very beginning just with the ground invasion shortly after October 7th. Because you can't keep soldiers on the ground with their boots over there for too long because of just the sheer trauma that even though they're doing their country a service and a good thing, and it's honorable, and it is worthy of accolade and being given a medal. Just the sightings of what it is that you see on the battlefield and what you also have to do to fight, to make sure or to guarantee your nation's victory is too much on the human psyche, the human psychology for any individual person to take in their stride for an extended period of time. So I would imagine that the moderating teams at social media platforms are largely fueled with kind of desperate matriculants, fresh out of university students that, however, just like soldiers on the battlefield, they're very young, cannot stay there for longer than a certain amount of time, if at all they're going to be any kind of healthy. So therefore, if you insist on constantly going back to the battlefield because you are brave, or you that, like, you know, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed volunteer, you just love to be in the front lines of battle. I'm sorry, on that day you have got a, what do you call this thing? You've got a fetish, you've got an obsession. There is something going on inside you that is unnatural. Do you understand what I'm saying? There is something happening inside your body that is very, very unnatural, that is being fed by the stimuli that is very, very disastrous. There is a monster inside you that is being satiated by very disastrous stimuli. It is being enabled along by that stimuli to grow and to fester, but it's unhealthy because, listen, the human being is not made for traumatic blows on a loop without recovering to just endure in that state, because then it starts to become psychotic or it starts to become like just dead. It either dies or it becomes with a deep psychosis. So a soldier cannot just keep fighting at war without going home, without reprieve. They have to be rotated out. And once they go back home to sit down, they cannot be called back to duty again, at least not for months or even years. Because listen, PTSD, it's too much. It's too much. And within the moderating space, not only do they see crazy things like porn, like murder, like online suicides, like people doing just the weirdest stuff, right? They don't only moderate foul language, which one can take in their stride, especially if they don't have the Holy Spirit. They don't only moderate things like medical misinformation. You spoke smack about COVID-19 and so that's why you're gone. They also moderate online suicides. So they can't just keep looking at stuff like that, right? So it gets to them emotionally and psychologically. They gotta leave. At some point, a job for a year, 6 months, 2 years, 3 tops. But you don't just stay there for like a decade. I mean, you're not gonna get fired from your job if you're a moderator for 10 years. Like, listen, you're not gonna get fired. If you don't, if you insist on staying there and being moderator of the year 12 years in a row, nobody's gonna fire you. But if you are moderator of the year 12 years in a row, honey, there is something wrong with you. If you don't leave, and if you get offered opportunities outside to grow, to get another career, to get whatever, and you don't leave, there is something very, very gnarly. They moderate these things, but also over and above moderating really ghoulish stimuli like a suicide online, they sometimes have to moderate things that go against their consciences. Remember, these are young children, right? I'm sorry to have to call them children. I'm 41. I know I don't look it, but when you get older, when people are in their 20s, it's like they're children. We call them kids, so I apologize if you feel offense. These youngsters, these young adults that are working in these organizations, these social media platforms, these youngins that are working for these social media platforms are fresh out of high school, a lot of them, right? They've got matric. And I know there was a time when I was forced to drop out of university because my mother was not paying my school fees. After second year, I was 19 years old and out on a crazy limb, and I was desperate for work, anything. I had no experience, and so for those reasons, nobody was even trying to talk to me. I would call everywhere and they would out here hang up on me, practically. Okay, so they didn't hang up, but you get my point. It's like hanging up when they tell you, sorry, you don't have experience. And so I ended up basically going to get interviewed at crazy places that I just did not want to work at, because listen, I need to start getting some kind of experience. So I ended up in Randburg once upon a time at this one call center that was for cold calling, and we were trained to call to Europe somewhere to sell T-Mobile cell phones, and oh, I hated it. People were rude and would hang up on you. They were about, where did you get my number? And it was just horrible, and I left after like 3 days. I couldn't deal, I couldn't handle it. But I was desperate for a job, yo, like anything. Thought I could take it in my stride, but I couldn't. I settled because the job was willing to pay both a basic and a commission. So I knew that I was gonna get a salary at the end of the month, even if I didn't sell a single thing. But at some point they were going to fire me if I didn't sell a single thing. But I just could not handle the vitriol. I couldn't deal with the insults, the people hanging up on me, being annoyed, irritated, and some of them using expletives all up in my grill. I hated all that rejection. So because I resented the rejection, I quit after 3 days, and I was okay if I didn't get a salary, because I was like, listen, I want any job, but not this one. Like, let me work at a call center where I'm administrating policies. Let me work at a call center where I am a data capture, anything. Like, just don't make me cold call. Like, I don't want to cold call. I was desperate for a job. Lo and behold, one time I called based on workplace, a newspaper that had a work section. Yes, it was called The Workplace, where it is that there were advertisements for jobs, vocations, and I would only go to where it is that they were looking for people with just matric, right? Because I was yet to graduate. After all, I had to drop out, and I would see in The Workplace these advertisements that said 18 plus only, looking for women who are 18 years and older to do massages. And I read that advertisement and immediately knew that something is wrong here. Why would they be offering people 15,000 rands for a massage with no experience? And one of their biggest brands over there, one of their biggest fonts worth of information on this advertisement was no experience required. No experience required. And I would see this and I was like, 18 years and older. Okay, so I'm 19 and no experience required. Okay, I have no experience, but like, who's gonna offer somebody with no experience under heaven 15,000 rands off the cuff? Listen, this is 2000 and I matriculated in 2002, 3, 4. This is 2005, at the beginning of the 2005 year, because I was at Wits for 2003 and 4. I get so beginning of 2005, I was now unemployed, looking for a job hotly, and I would go in The Workplace every Wednesday, buy it, and call centers, all mutual, everywhere. We're looking for call center agents. You don't have experience. Hang up the phone. Largely, pretty much, it was like hanging up the phone. Even though they didn't hang up the phone, of course, that would be rude. You know, they would just tell me, sorry, we can't take, we have no experience. Yeah. And at that time, I'm busy calling at the public phones, you know, the ones in the containers, in the gasi. Back in the day, there was like these public phones at the containers. You pay a person, you go and you pay somebody, and they give you like 5 minutes or however much time on the phone. And then you like hang, hold on. And if your money finishes, it finishes, and the phone just, it was horrible. So this number, I was like, okay, they better I take my call like real fast, because I had called and being hung up on. Not so much hung up, you get my point, but just disappointed. And I was high and dry and depressed without a job, and I wanted work. And in The Workplace, there was always this advertisement there. 18 years and older, no experience required, and 15,000 rands as a start. My goodness, the call centers that I was trying to work for that required 6 months experience minimum, and Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, etc. Those ones, 6,000, 7,000, if at all you're really blessed, 5,000, 4,500 rands as an entry-level salary. And here it is that this year joint was promising 15K off the bat. I'm smart. I'm 19, I'm young, yes, we get it. But like, listen, intelligence comes from the time you're pretty much 0 years old. So I was smart enough to figure that something's awry here, something's off, something's really off, it's gotta be. Something is horribly off, it has got to be. Why would you be paying so much money for 15K? What in the world is wrong with you? I need to find out what's going on in these uneasy streets. And no, I didn't want to find out. I first called the call centers and everywhere else, tried to apply for learnerships, and they out here tantamount hung up on me because I had nothing to offer them, apparently, allegedly. And depression was catching up with me, crawling up my skirt like a bad man. Very well, one day, one fateful, crazy, ridiculous, more fatefulness day. One fateful, crazy, ridiculous, more fateful, crazy day. I make a decision to call one of these numbers because they were littered. Listen, there was a lot of them. They were like 18 and plus, 10,000 rand start, 15,000 rand start. I call, I'm like, hi, you say here that you're willing to offer, like I said, the advert said, looking for girls 18 and up to massage for, to become masseuses, essentially. I mean, I bet you know where I'm going with this. To become masseuse, 15 grand and more, and like I said, no experience. So I called, and I'm like, listen, insofar as you will teach me how to massage, I'm good. I can be a masseuse, because at that stage, I'm like, what? I'm 19. I had been to Mangwanani Spa with my family when I was a teenager. My mother took me with one time when she went to go and get massages at Mangwanani Spa. And I was like, listen, I didn't intend to be a masseuse. Like, it was not my career choice. I was looking more towards the commercial studies, you know, to go and study like a BCom accounting, not accounting, but a BCom economics or something at university. I was looking more to be in corporate, but I guess girl gotta start somewhere. While I'm looking for a job, I guess I can go and, you know, squeeze some people's shoulders and actually also do a head massage and put oils in their hair. Cause I had a beautiful head massage once from Mangwanani, and I was like, this, I could do it. I mean, it's decent money. So I don't mind, even though really I don't know how I'm gonna gain any experience. I'm not gonna learn much just from squeezing people's shoulders, but I can do it. Yo, what in the world? I call this number and the lady answers, hi, what's up? Yeah, okay, are you 18 and up? I'm like, yeah, sure, I am. Of course, I'm 19. Yeah, okay, rock up. They'll come here with your CV. Like, why did you need a CV for that? I mean, you all know where I'm going with this. I bet you know. But like, bring your CV and also bring your ID so we can verify that you're 18 years old. And come, they give me the address. It was somewhere in Bryanston, in Sandton. It was somewhere in Bryanston and Sandton. I'm like, all right, I'll be there like a bear, make an appointment for like a day and a half later. And I go, and it's this house. It was a regular house. Like, Bryanston is the north of Johannesburg, and it's an affluent neighborhood. It's an affluent neighborhood. It's an expensive neighborhood. It's upmarket. And there it was not sectional titles, but houses, and they were big, like mansions, right? Just like next to each other mansions. And if you have gone to Mangwanani Spa, like en route, like Hartbeespoort, you will also know that like when you go there, it's also giving chalets and sort of kind of bushy felt forest jungle. It from the outside also looks like an estate mansion. It's what I'm getting at, or like an estate where there's a couple of mansions. So this establishment in Bryanston, it was just so full of trees. Beautiful, like a beautiful neighborhood, okay, full of trees, and a big house that was gated heavily. You could not just enter in there like by just knocking or being like, go, 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 just like grabbing the, what do you call this, lock? You know how in the Gussie when you be knocking at the door and nobody can hear you, just like bash the what do you call this thing, the lock against the gate and be like, ga 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 go go ga ga. You couldn't just do any of that, right? It was you didn't have no such locks on the gates. It had a buzzer. It had a buzzer, like the way that mansions have buzzers. Anybody got a buzzer in the Gussie? Like, no, that doesn't happen. Okay, even if you've got like a house with a gate on it, you gotta knock like heavy, like hard knock with like ga 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 ga. Yeah, no, it's like squiggle, just like in the movies. Okay. I'd never lived in a space like that. I'd been in a mansion before, because there was a guy that I once dated that took me to one of his friends' houses that was like a mansion-y like that. Two guys, but like really, in and of myself, personally, I've never stayed anywhere that was affluent like that. So I didn't really think much of this establishment that was like, it looked like a very wealthy man's house, very wealthy woman's house, a wealthy family's house. It looked like a rich kid's home. And I was like, oh, it's Bryanston, look at that. I remember when I told my cousin this story, she was my best friend at the time. She cracked up like an egg. She cracked up like an egg and even cooked on my head, being that egg, okay? The way that it was just so funny to her. But like, listen, this was not funny. It was traumatizing. I go to Bryanston, this big, beautiful mansion, at the door of which I'm like, clicking at the gate. And as I click, as I go clicking over there, I look around and I notice that the vehicles that are driving by, they slow down and they just like look at me and then they drive off. Like, this one woman literally wound down as I'm sitting outside clicking. The one woman wound down her window, an older white lady wound down her window and just watched me. She was in the passenger seat of this car, and she just watched me as I'm standing there, digging, ringing the doorbell, and she wound down her window and looked at me. She didn't wag her head or whatever, but she was just looking at me with curiosity, almost as if though to basically gaze into the eyes of a young woman to see what a prostitute looks like. Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I need to blow my nose. I need to listen, guys, for my content, I use application makeup, but that's something that everybody just kind of knows from my old ministry. So I just say that I'm just gonna carry on from where I left off. So when I'm blowing my nose, you're probably gonna be wondering, what in the world? Your lipstick just moved over there. It's fake makeup. It's an app. All right. That's just gonna be a thing. So now you've learned a new nuance about me. Anyway, so I'm here at this like spot. And this one, the white lady was the most crazy. The way that she looked at me, right? Like she wound down the window and just stared. And then the car moved, but everybody else, a whole bunch of cars, not all of them, of course, but like a whole bunch of cars that were driving past, watching me, knock, listen, ring the doorbell. They slowed their cars down and they looked with curiosity and they just like moved on. I was like, okay. I must be either really beautiful or there must be something on me that I don't see. Like maybe I'm on my period and I can't see that there's like a blotch of blood at the back of my pants or whatever, or there's like tissue in between, like underneath my skirt that I don't see is there. Cause I when I was doing the number 1 or the number 2, I didn't quite notice that I just walked out with tissue just kind of dangling down. Proper, like they were looking at me like there's something to look at, like something to look at. The way that you would stare at a person that has like a booger, or you would be nervous to look at them because they've got like big snot like that, like right there. They were looking at me like that and I didn't know what in the world was going on. Nobody ever wagged their head on some, I wonder, but it's like they just had like an awe, a curiosity, like I was a zoo animal. Like they slowed down, and I'd never had anybody slow down like that just to see what's going on with me. When I was anywhere in life except for this place, and I knocked, ding. Eventually, somebody answers, the same lady from the phone, I would imagine, receptionist. Hello. I'm like, hi, it's Karabo. I'm here for the 1:30 appointment. She's like, okay. And then, the door, the gate opens for me ever so slightly, like just like, and then I go in and then it closes again. I go in and I walk towards the reception, and this house looks like pretty much like, when you've got offices that used to be a house, like a house that has been made into an office like building. How you basically walk towards what would be the tantamount of the patio, and like there's a sliding door, and what would have been a lounge or a living area is a reception. Yeah, a type establishment thing. Very green, very beautiful. It looked like an office. It like very green, very beautiful. Inside it was green, like, homes in the north of Joburg that are big, mansiony. They've got pine trees and everything. Like they've got foliage from here to Timbuktu. They've got flora from here to 20,000 years. It's glorious, glorious, glorious landscaping. Glorious, glorious, beautiful, what do you call this? Like shrubbery, greenery, plants, roses, just... Yeah, nothing of this thing. Listen, it was giving Mangwanani. Mangwanani spa where you get your massages? Yeah. It was giving all that kind of green, like not far in the distance there was like a crystal blue, gorgeous swimming pool. It just looked like a house that had been made an office, but it was a spa, so it had all the things that people at a spa would need, like a swimming pool. And there were like these laying chairs at the swimming pool that people could chill on with their towels and everything, hanging out, those lazy boys, you know them. Yeah, I walked in and I was out here feeling like, okay, listen, it looks like a little bit of a Mangwanani, like, but one that is more inland in the burbia more than it is sort of kind of off-grid, like the one that is like Mangwanani is more out there in the countryside, right? In the bushveld type thing. Yeah, but this one was in suburbia. So I was like, yeah, it looks Mangwananesque. Like proper. Hey man, I would be lying if I said that I did not suspect that something awry would go down ultimately, but I was with great naivety because I wanted a job. I was young, I was out on a limb, I was down, I was out like a light. Like listen, I needed a job. And so I really hoped that this here environment was a place where I was going to seasonally for maybe like 6 months to a year while I'm looking for another job. I was going to be a masseuse, just like the Mangwanani ladies. Yeah, but yo, I could tell. Like, I knew. So I knew that I was gonna find stuff out. But I mean, what's it gonna kill me? Let me learn. It's in broad daylight, and this looks like a legitimate establishment. And you know what? I am so grateful. God has been with me, listen guys, all throughout my life. I am so grateful that it was not a sex trafficking ring, a human trafficking ring. But in this country, prostitution is legal. At Rosebank, they walk up and down, no police are arresting them or whatever. But that's the thing, maybe that's why South Africa is falling apart. Like when you make abortion and prostitution and gay marriage and whatnot legal, then I mean, duh, okay? Like, duh. Yeah. Ultimately, somewhere along the way down the line, your country's gonna just die off. At that stage, it was like 2005. It's 2025. Listen, 20 years later. Listen, whatever, okay? Whatever. So, because prostitution is legal, selling your body is legal in this country. What was I saying? I forgot. Like I lost my train of thought, but like whatever. All that establishment. I walked in this, yeah, because prostitution is legal, they could afford to have a legal establishment that was above reproach by the standards of man. So basically law abiding, that would not actually be kidnapping some girls, like just lure you into a corner and just pounce on you like a beast. I'm grateful that, because if that kind of stuff was illegal in the country, that could have been the kind of place where I would have gotten snatched like some Jeffrey Epstein. Anyway, whatever. So I find myself at that establishment. Okay, I go in and it looks like a regular office building. It looks like a regular office, a house that has been turned into an office estate. Okay, yeah. And the reception was just like the way that you would, like, it looks like it could have been a house, a lounge for a house, but it is rather a reception for a company, right? I have been interviewed at places like this before for legitimate jobs that make sense. Yeah, like a house that my mom used to work at a place like this, where it is that she was an HR lady over this one small company that was, whose offices was a house turned into an office. So it looked like something like that, okay? And I'd been to our offices as a teenager. So I just figured that it's one of those places where my mom used to work, similar to it back in the day. Anyway, so I walk in and the receptionist lady, very, very fresh, very kind, okay? And she looked like any other receptionist. Like she looked so professional. She looked like any other receptionist. Like, you see this outfit that I'm rocking now. Okay, so I'm fabulous. I got glory. I'm fashion forward. So it was not as ornate as my outfit right now, but just like a regular, suit tie, like a pencil skirt down to her knees, a small little kitten heel, what would look like the receptionist of a regular corporate, okay? She looked like that, and she was eloquent like that, well-spoken like that, hair in a, neat, nothing, not like, yeah, she just looked regular. So I was like, this is legit, like, yeah. Because while I say I had suspicions that this here is a brothel. I thoroughly had suspicions that it's a brothel. I did, but I was in denial and I wanted a job and I wanted it desperately not to be a brothel. I just wanted a job. And so when I saw, so because I had suspicions that this was a brothel, when then I saw the receptionist lady, and she looked like the way that receptionists look, I was like, something inside me was like, okay, Karabo, you had suspicions. You traveled all the way, got a taxi, like proper taxis. I went to Bree and then to Bryanston. Or was it North and then Bryanston? I think it was North. Yeah, I traveled with taxis and I got to this place. I found this address. And I spent all that money, because when you have no money, that is all that money, all that taxi fare. I spent it to get to what I hoped desperately was not a brothel. Crossed my fingers. And when I saw the receptionist, I was like, of course it's not a brothel, because first of all, in the reception area, there are no pornographic like posters on the walls. I looked around because I was already suspicious. I looked around and, like I said, foliage. It was a beautiful landscape. It was beautiful flora, beautiful plants, beautiful crystal blue swimming pool, at the time of which nobody was there swimming. It was looked like an officey space. It reminded me of my mom's offices where she used to work once before. And on the walls, because I suspected already from just looking at the adverts in the newspaper that this is sex work. Like, this is what this is. I wanted to believe not that was a thing. And I went, and I expected that I will know that I'm walking into a brothel and immediately leave. I will know that I'm walking into a brothel and immediately leave if I walk in and I see what looks like a brothel. I've only ever, at that stage, I'm like, what, 19 years old? I got born again only at the age of 26. So I understand, as a young woman, I have seen on TV in particular what the insides of brothels tend to look like, you know? To me, it was giving Moulin Rouge, right? I was expecting to see an establishment that was like all red and like, what do you call this? Like silk, just kind of dangling poles, like stripper poles everywhere. I expected it to look like the inside of a strip club. I've never been to a strip club personally, but I've seen it on TV. But I've been to a club that had a strip club on the inside. I believe it was Taboo in Sandton, right? It had a stripper pole on the inside, but I've never been to an actual strip club. Yeah, but I've seen strip clubs on movies. I expected to see Moulin Rouge, like da 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 da. Just like, yeah, I expected to see a red couches that had like pin cushions that were red couches. I expected to see girls walking around. I need to pee. How glorious is this dress though? Like, it's so beautiful. I come from the bathroom, moisturizing the hands, and I looked at this dress in the mirror and I was like, oh, it's so cute. It's so beautiful. It was a hand-me-down because it could not fit my mom properly, so she was like, take it, Tio, take it. Oh, it's also another Temu purchase. Like, I'm telling you right now, I don't know why y'all are just still shopping in South African stores. I thoroughly have no idea. I don't know. I don't have a clue. You guys hate shopping like a bam. Temu. It comes to my knees. It's so cute. Anyway, whatever. I'm busy telling a story over here. I was half expecting the ladies in that brothel. I guess it was a brothel. So I suspected, but I was in denial. And I was expecting to not only, I guess, walk into Moulin Rouge, hear that kind of music, or rap, lots and lots of rap. Yeah, some music of that nature. I also expected it to like be red all over the show. Dim lights, pin cushion couches, the red, and stripper poles everywhere, and girls walking up and down in G-strings and like, you know, suspenders and like fishnet stockings and like chunky, like, you know, those chunky stripper heels that have got like a heel that are like the hoof of an animal. Their heels look like hoofs. I was expecting girls walking around like that in the reception. I was expecting to see girls walking around like that, and I told myself that once I get inside and I see Moulin Rouge, I was gonna get out immediately because it would be clear what I was dealing with. Okay, it would be obvious what I was dealing with, and I didn't want Moulin Rouge, Christina Aguilera all up in Maya and everybody get out like proper. No, okay. I was gonna leave, but I walked in and it looked so professional. It looked so, what do you call this, office-y? It looked regular. Looked like my mom's offices where she used to work once upon a time. And I was like, okay, I think I've got a job. Oh my goodness, like, it was so easy. But that's just the thing, right? That's just the thing. What is that saying in the world? If something is too good to be true, then it probably is. When you're in the world, that's true. But when you're in Christ, that's not true. Because the promises of God are exceeding and abundantly above anything at all that you could ever think to ask for. And neither eye has seen, nor mind conceived, nor ear heard the things which God has prepared for those who wait on him. So if something is too good to be true, and you're in the world, it probably is. But when something is too good to be true and you're in Christ, it's your promise. And so when people tell you quit, give up, because listen, nothing is coming for you, no one is coming for you, nothing is ever gonna give, but you're a Christian, tell them, listen, neither eye has heard, neither eye has seen, nor ear heard, nor mind conceived the things which God has prepared for those who wait for him. So who trust in him, I'll wait. I'll take my chances and wait for that which is an exceeding abundant provision that you think is not coming. And this is what I'm trying to counsel women concerning. when it comes to waiting on the Lord for spouses. Listen, it's 2025. Gushubile. It's hectic out there. You don't know what you're getting into. But I was in the world at that stage. So because I was in the world, something was too good to be true. 15,000 rands, first salary, no experience, matric. Nobody was going to give you that unless you're working as a sex worker. Like, unless you're a prostitute. Unless you're an OnlyFans model. 10 amount of back in the day. Unless you're doing OnlyFans, honey, you're not going to get 15K fresh out of matric with nothing to your name. Unless you're doing strange stuff, or unless you're an au pair working overseas and you convert your dollars into rands, then maybe. But if you're working in these local streets, you're not going to get an honest job for that much money fresh out of matric with no experience. And I mean, it took me 2 job promotions to get to 15,000 rands. Once I was working honest jobs in corporate South Africa, but I was promised 15K off the bat over there. Anyway, whatever. So I walk in and I expect to see Moulin Rouge. I did not see Kiti Kiti Yaya Papa. I just saw a very poised young lady that looked like a regular receptionist at any company that I'd ever seen. And she was kind, she was fresh. She welcomed me in, offered me juice, and I was like, thank you. I'll have coffee instead. And I sat there waiting to be essentially interviewed. All right. I just sat there, and then the receptionist lady then introduces me, but like one of the girls that worked there as a massage therapist comes out of, one of the girls that works there as a massage therapist comes out of her bedroom, right? Her bedroom. It was her bedroom. She lived there. She was rocking jeans, like regular jeans, and like a t-shirt, like jeans and a t-shirt, like no suspenders or fishnet stockings, nothing. She looked like a regular chick, like the young lady. I was 19 at the time. She looked like she could be my age, maybe 2021. Shorter than me. I'm tall and I'm slender. I look like a model. Oh, and this is another thing. The receptionist lady she looked like a model. She looked like me. She was tall and thin. She looked like she was just grabbed off the ramp. Do you understand what I'm saying? And when I saw her, I wasn't surprised. I expected that could be a shoddy establishment, but you know, I was in denial. So when I saw that girl, I was like, whoa, beautiful receptionist. Like, she's stunning. You know, she looked like a model. So I don't know if that chick, the receptionist, was either, I don't know if she worked in those capacities over there because of her beauty, or if she had divorced herself from the craft and then chosen rather to be a receptionist or what. But like, she looked like a model. She looked like she could have just like been booked by Storm or Ice Models or whatever. Like, she was really beautiful. A black girl, and very poised. And like I said, she rocked office attire. Nothing of her was oozing Moulin Rouge. Anyway, whatever. So the one girl gets out of her bedroom. She lives there. And it was not weird for me that she lives there, but it was also weird because for me, it's like, if you're working here as a masseuse, why not go home to where you live? Like, right? Why not go home to where you stay? Like, at the end of the working day. Why not go home to where you stay at the end of every working day? I would imagine that the masseuses at Mangwanani Spa probably go home to where they stay every single day. But that's just the thing about working in certain industries, like within the sex industry. Their girls tend to come from crazy backgrounds and their pimps house them where it is that they do their jobs. They don't go home every day and come back. Whether or not they're trafficked, they tend to live there because they tend to have had nowhere else to live safely before. And I did find it awkward that this girl lived here, right? She lived there. She did not have to go home every day. She probably could have if she wanted to, but that probably came as a package deal. That probably came as a package deal for her to work this kind of job. They probably said, we'll also give you accommodation. So maybe Nazomu Kukumo, she was on the street. I don't know. Okay. But she comes out, she's shorter than me, regular black girl. Okay. And, when she got out of her bedroom, the receptionist lady was like, oh, let's say her name was Lerato. Oh, Lerato, just take Karaba over there. She's here for an interview. Just, keep her busy and just let her know what the job entails. Like, talk with her or just keep her busy. Like, just basically until such time that the boss guy comes to interview Karabo, just show her around, right? She comes out of her bedroom doing whatever, looking casual. And then the receptionist lady is like, take her and acquaint her. And when I go into where it is that she was chilling, she was in her, I realized that it was her bedroom. And it looked like a regular bedroom, y'all, like the bedroom of any young woman, right? That was our age, like 19. Teddy bear on the bed, and like a poster of like her favorite rapper, poster of like Tony Braxton or Destiny's Child, you know, like stuff that you would find in an upcoming college student, university age student's dorm room, like random things, whatever it is that you would put there. Yeah. And the kind of music that's playing is like rap, like or Bills, Bills, Bills. At first we started out real cool. Okay, maybe it was way be after the days of Bills, 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 but you get my point. Like a poster of Aaliyah, a poster of Tupac. Nothing that would ever hint to me that this chick is in sex work. She did not have posters of random sex toys. She didn't have sex toys around. Nothing that would ever give off. Like Counter did not have just like a box of condoms. Like nothing that could ever give off that this is this kind of establishment. It looked like a regular young woman's university age dorm room, but instead of dorm room, it looked like a bedroom at her home where she stays with her parents, right? And this was a bedroom, I guess this is a house, a mansion. It looked like one of the bedrooms of like a child that would have lived there, right? Yo, guys, I go in here, and while this girl's bedroom her bedroom had what do you call this thing? Her bedroom had it was just a regular bedroom, decorated just like a bedroom, right? But there was also, I can't call it a stretcher, but a massage bed. You know, like a massage bed? What they look like, those cushy, yeah, what you would chill on, the one with the hole in the face, yeah. Her bedroom had that in like, it was like quarantined, right? So on this side was her bed against the wall, and it was a single bed with like a teddy bear on it and all these posters of like artists, music stars on there. Music playing that was like rap music in the background or whatever. And then there was like what looked like a massage bed with a hole in the center, in the face, right? A massage bed that was there, not behind a curtain, but a curtain could be drawn. Like, yeah, a curtain could be drawn. Mara, it was open. She had not closed the curtain. It was open. Like, you know, those could like, yeah, like going into a fitting room and then like, that thing that goes, yeah, a curtain. Yeah, and that curtain I think that was red. Me and the color red, I think the curtain was red, but there was a curtain separating essentially her bedroom, the regular bedroom, and the place where she massaged. And when you looked in the massage area, right, there was that massage bed with the hole in the face, but there were also like oils there that looked like regular massage oils, like pretty much what it is that you would find. And towels, like just, yeah, what you would find if you walked into a Mangonani spa, like massage place, you would find those things too. You would find massage oils, you would find towels, you would find the massage bed thing that has the hole in the face. Yeah, you would find all that stuff. Like there was nothing that was giving any kind of weird sexual suggestion, but at the same time, there was a cabinet, like, not a cabinet, but like a drawer set, like place where you would put things. I would imagine that all the other kinky weird stuff that like men with fetishes had, they probably were put in there, and she had tucked them away. Likely as a means, as protocol, probably because maybe she was told by her bosses that you don't know what the boss wants or what the client wants, what he fetishizes. So essentially you have to ask him, or it has to be on his sheet before he comes to see you. And you then only take it out and present it and basically just kind of put it there for him when he walks in, for you to do whatever you want to do, all up in that gangster joint, right? But when you're not working, make sure that these things are locked away. So there were drawers and everything, but those drawers for me was like nothing, because there are plenty of drawers. Go Mangwanani little spa rooms too, full of massage oils and little soaps and things that you leave with, no little incense that they burn. Yeah, stuff that you would find at a regular spa that's not licentious. Yo, guys. I know, shame. So this young lady chica brings me into her bedroom, and we sat on her bed. Like there was no study desk or nothing. It was just a bed, like, yeah. Cause yeah, we sat on her bed and we were chatting like two girls, right? I wasn't uncomfortable at all, cause it was just a chick. Like it was a chick. I wasn't there with a guy, nothing weird. And yeah, I was just chatting with a chick, you know? And she's like, hi, how are you? Very fresh, also kind. No, I'm right. Yeah, my name is Lorato. What's yours? I'm Carabo. I'm like, okay, so tell me more about your job. this is now me asking her. I'm like, tell me more about your job that I'm here to be interviewed for. And she's like, yeah, we do massages. Every so often we have politicians. This chick, she was like, every so often we've got politicians, very prominent politicians in this country. They come here to get massages. I was like, interesting. No wonder you're getting paid 15,000 rands a pop and upwards. I mean, if the country's prime minister of what comes here, why would you be getting 6,000 rands like you're in the call center? But it did also raise red flags, hairs at the back of my neck. I was like, why would a politician choose to come here instead of go Mangwanani? Because, I mean, you know, it's more elaborate Mangwanani, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, anyway, whatever. And at some point I was like, I would just get to the point. You have suspicions, just ask this chick. I was like, so after she told me that politicians come there, celebrities go there, she gave me, like, she didn't tell me who exactly, because that was confidential. Because these people's, they have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and they cannot just say, I slept with this guy, I slept with that, and this particular married prime minister came here. But she did let me know that there's a whole bunch of married men that go there. She said that there's a whole bunch of politicians that go there. She said that there's a whole bunch of celebrities that that go there to get these massages, and just basically very high profile people, and also lots and lots of married people, right? And the fact that she said to me that there's a lot of married men that come here, for me it was like, why would you feel it necessary to highlight that married men come here? Because I mean, a married man gets to get a massage. He gets to get a massage, right? But unless of course he's Ravi Zacharias. Anyway, so herein lies the situation. Ultimately at some point I'm like, okay, Garabo, just ask. Just ask, girl, because you know that you're not going to become a prostitute. You know that you're not going to, like, no, you're not doing that. Like, it's not even an option. I wasn't even deeply considering it. Nothing in me was slightly tempted. Not even. I was not even there. I don't know what it's like. Okay? I do not know what it's like to be taken to that extreme of desperation as a woman. I don't know. I don't know what could cause a woman to even contemplate prostitution. I don't know. I know that there are women that have a hard life, but I also know that amidst ladies that have a really trashy life, they would first and foremost rather opt for, if they're young and beautiful, which that girl was, they would first and foremost rather opt for a put madlisa, like a sugar daddy, rather than full-on prostitution. I have never been amidst women that were desperate enough, because I was a middle-income child that grew up in like snobbish, gentrified black society, you know, the kids that went to Model C schools and whatnot. We didn't go to schools in the Gassies, and neither endured a little bit of a hizo papa action issue, which is why my cousin and I used to run like forest and for dear life. From Mama Kinza, we didn't attend the bash, like parties that was just really full of violence, the beatings of girls and whatnot. Like, it was always just like these gentrified Rockville and Deep Blue parties that, even though they were in the Gassi, they were snobbish. And of course the clubs, Fredman Drive, Taboo, News Cafe, that's the lane that my peers and I were on the come up. So I don't know the side of ghetto, the side of Gassi, the side of streets that manufacture girls that deeply consider prostitution. I don't know it. I don't know the side of life of girls that date gangsters. Although when I was working at Telesure Group Services as a call center agent, finally I got on the call center, look at that, right? As a call center agent, a claims consultant, I had a friend in the call center that was just ghetto. She was hood, but she really loved me, and so I gave her a chance. She liked me, and one time I went to a party with her in the ghetto. I was so uncomfortable. I was standing there like it was summer, hot. You know how summer nights are so hot, but I looked like I was freezing. I was just like in the corner because it was so ghetto, and I was sutured to her like a stitch on a garment. She had a car and I didn't have one at the time, and she picked me up at home and drove me all the way to the Wedo, okay, to Soweto. She picked me up at home in Florida where I stayed. I was like, my friend, hello. And I'm all excited, my girl picked me up. I have a friend who has a car. When you're that young, everybody out there be too serious, okay? Everybody will call, but so when you have a friend that has a car, you feel really blessed because y'all ain't gonna have to be maxi taxi paying no drivers at the club, and you're also not gonna be forced to stay at the nightclub and kankane at BC because you're gonna take taxis home. Yeah, back in the day, you used to hash out clubbing like that, where you don't have cars, but you gotta be at that party. And so you will be there until the sun rises. And then in the morning, as soon as taxis are available as early as 6:30 in the morning. You be out there drunk like a skunk in a taxi going home because you wanted to be in the club. God forbid should you get so sick and vomity that you want to go home, you want to sleep, because you will literally sleep on those couches in the club until people are like, the sun is rising. There was desperation to party back in the day. And as girls, if we didn't have boyfriends that had cars, we would go arrive at the party at the club early. Like 8:30, that's pretty early for a club. And we just kind of hover around that general area. Go to the mall, loiter at the mall, window shop like a pigeon, and then walk to the nightclub at around 11, pay cover charge, go in there and stay and stay there the whole night. And if you get tired and you want to go home, you can't pay for a maxi taxi. It was before the days of Uber. Uber is really cheap, right? And if you club together, you can all like leave just kind of band with an Uber and go home and sleep at one girl's house or whatever. No, back then maxi taxi they did per meter. You will pay if you live in Soweto. If you live in Florida, far from Sandton, you will literally, like, it'll come up a bill like 800 rands. Like, who has that when you don't have any money? It is precisely because you have no money that this has to be your party strategy. So every so often we used to just kind of hang out in the club, tired and then full of vomit. Sick from Babalas. And in the morning, very early, get on a taxi, and that's how you get home. Later on, it became a little bit more convenient because one guy had a car out of a crew of guys, and so we would pack it up like sardines. People sitting on top of each other, squeezed up cheek on the window, and we're all going to the club. If the police were to catch us, like it's an overload.